Hey, this is Dr. Bradford. I have a couple things I wanted to discuss with you this week. Um, Obviously, we've got homework 5 on Chapter 6 due. I believe that's due tonight, right? Yes, it is due tonight. And then we also have your experimental research homework that's due Wednesday. So it's really important, really important that you read these chapters if you haven't already, because I'm finding that some of the homework assignments haven't exactly been research oriented. They've kind of been everyday knowledge oriented. So keep that in mind. The homework 6, what I want you to think about is I have, I'm going to do it this way. I have some example assignments. If you need some more, let me know. But what I want you to do is find a research article on, find a research article that is a experiment or quasi-experiment, okay? So then you want to pay attention to the article's future research. So what this entails is, I'm going to give you an example here in this sex and advertising. I'm going to put some other research articles as well up on the portal. But what happens is not all research is perfect. So what happens is researchers will go through an experiment and realize, this didn't turn out the way we expected, or maybe it did. So what you'll do is take the hypotheses and figure out what could be different in a future research. Also, what you can do is look at the future. So they went through this whole research and they discussed the results, and then the overall discussion is kind of putting it into context of the real world. Okay, so they review the hypotheses again and think about the implications for future research. So as you can see right here, the future research is and limitations. This is some of the shortcomings that the study might have had. So what I want you to do in this homework assignment is to review this future research, or maybe just go through the study itself and think, okay, well, what about this study that wasn't perfect? And can you reformulate this study to make it a little bit more perfect? Maybe the measurements that they used weren't perfect. Maybe the participants. So if you look through the sampling chapter, you'll notice that many college researchers will use college sophomores or college students, and you think about how does that influence the results, because sometimes they get extra credit for studies, and sometimes they sometimes they might not have the same knowledge and life experience as the general population. So think about how differently you would conduct the experiment. Okay, remember, this is going to be an experiment. This is for for homework 6. So make sure that it is indeed an experiment, and you can find that. Usually you'll indicate whether it's an experiment or not in the abstract. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some additional research articles up on the portal in case you have a hard time finding experimental articles. And again, what you'll do here is make the APA citation of the article. Make this bigger. Write the APA citation of the article, one or two new hypotheses related to this study, or if the same hypothesis, what your population of interest is in the sample, how will you obtain it? So this is going back to chapter 6. How many participants will be required? And summarize your procedure. How you will manipulate your variables. How will you measure your variables? Where do you find some of this information or some guidelines for information that's going to be in your, let me go back to methods section. You go back to the methods section, which is essentially what ComResearch is all about, is that methods section. And so your procedures shouldn't be this much in detail, but if you look at the procedure, that should give you a good guideline of what I'm looking for. Okay, so this showed each person viewed 2 commercials, 1 control, and the one that was sexual, and then they described what kind of experimental manipulation they had. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. And how they manipulate their variables and how they measure their variables. Typically what they do is they'll tell you how they're, imagine that they're doing the lawn, how they're measuring measurement instruments and latent constructs. So sexual self-schema, this is how they measured sexual self-schema. Okay? So if there's any other questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Okay, so this is a pretty important homework assignment, and I want you to really get it. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.